So you've got a few options here. LinkedIn has some pre-saved ones here, which you might want to explore. I think these are a bit general, people with Bitcoin expertise or expertise in biotechnology. You can use these as a starting point. So like if a financial decision maker, it doesn't really narrow it down much. But, if you've got a business that targets event planners or financial advisors, then, perhaps you might want to load this in as a starting point. And then it will load in a whole load of job titles as a starting point. You can see as well that you've got the audience size over here is adjusted. So we've now got 140,000 people in the audience. I would say this is like slightly high. It's maybe not too high. You normally want about 70 or 80, say between 80 and 100,000 in the audience. 140,000 isn't problematically big. If you've got an audience size and it's millions of people, then you need to narrow it down a bit more. However, if you've got an audience size and it's only like 10,000 people or say 20,000 people, the issue that you'll have is that the campaigns aren't targeting enough people to scale. And you'll find that your campaigns might run well for a bit, but then the performance will drop off. So you need at least sort of 50 as a minimum. You need sort of 50,000 people in the audience. So I would say that's potentially not. It's perhaps on the big side, but it's not too far off. But then you can adjust this and say, well, actually, this is put in some initial industries. But you could add in a further criteria. You could add in a further criteria here. It might be then that you're only looking at people who are interested in certain member groups, people who are interested in particular groups that cater to your audience, or people who have particular interests. Again, you just have to have a play around with this and see what you're able to target. Perhaps they're interested in health, for instance. So again, that's brought it down to 100,000. Or perhaps they're interested in careers and employments. That really hasn't brought it down. But yeah, stuff like this is quite helpful, because if you're targeting people who are only interested in health, you could write an ad that talks about, if you're serving financial advisors, then again you might talk about health in the ad. That's quite an interesting take on this. You might want to target people who are interested in AI. So yeah, again, that's brought it down to 74,000. So that, again, if you were to write an ad that was talking about the role of AI in financial advice, then you might want to target people who just have that interest. So I think this idea of layering interests on top of who they are, in terms of where do they work, what are their company sizes, what are their job roles. So all of the